Flip me, Boris Johnston being back in power again. Nicola Sturgeon's going absolutely mental in Scotland. My God, this is not the Unleashed podcast too. I can only say so much. Maybe I should have saved it for Thursday's Unleashed podcast. Boris Johnson getting back in power again. That's it. I'm packing my bags. I'm ready for the hill. Well, good morning guys, welcome back to this Tuesday morning. Welcome back to the Mirror Army podcast for another week. Hope you're all doing well out there. Good morning. It's a beautiful sunny day here in beautiful Northern Ireland. Good morning. Just sat down here this morning to gather some information for the podcast to talk about today. Gather up some of your questions. I just saw some of the news stories this morning and I said to myself, can it please be Thursday so I can be more honest on the podcast instead of having to be restrained? But unfortunately not, guys. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to try and bite my lip, should we say. So anyway, yes, good morning, or wherever the time of the day is you're listening to is around the world. Welcome back to the Mirror Army podcast for another week. It's now Tuesday. Hope you all had a great weekend out there. I had a pretty good weekend, actually, this past weekend, guys. We had a great weekend, Lewis and I. Didn't see very much of Brooke this weekend because she was doing her own thing and she was also working and stuff like that there, but we had a great weekend again. But before we get into any more discussion about our weekend and what we've been up to and stuff and everything else, I want to get the housekeeping out of the way, as I like to call here on the Mirror Army podcast. So, as always, if you're a new listener to the podcast, hello, welcome to the podcast for the first time. If you're a regular listener, obviously you'll know this rant, this spiel I like to do every week. If you would like to get in touch with us here at the Mirror Army podcast, you can certainly do it by the following methods. You can contact us by email, which a lot of you do quite regularly, which is mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Social media, you can follow us on social media by the Mirror Army YouTube channel, Facebook page. Just search Mirror Army YouTube channel. Also, if you want to get in touch with me via the old Instagram, which I put a wee question out there the other day, and a lot of you have been getting in touch with me in relation to that Instagram, which is official Matthew Moore on Instagram. And guys, yes, I found a few hours the other day to try and get the website sort of updated a little bit. Done a few bits and bobs the other day, got all the Christmas crap taken off it and all that there, bits and bobs and everything else. Still working on it at the minute, but you can still get all your merch and stuff on there. So if you want to go to the Mirror Army website, we can get all your merch. Check out all the vlogs from this channel and all the other channels we run on YouTube. Check out all our social media, photographs, etc. You can go to our website, which is mirrorarmy.co.uk. Plus, it's a bit more mobile friendly as well. I've been doing a bit of work on the mobile site too as well, so you can get all your bits and bobs on the mobile site too as well, which is mirrorarmy.co.uk. Well, we've got some interesting things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about Mr. Boris Johnston. The story's been popping up today. Talk about Jeanette McCranky again, or Miss Nicola Sturgeon, that balloon head up in Scotland. Just a couple of other things I want to talk about too as well. Plus, we've had a celebrity death as well this week, which is kind of sad. But I was actually talking about the recent recreated program of this person. But we'll talk about that shortly as well. And plus, we'll obviously answer all your questions as well here on the podcast today as well. So, yes, guys, again, I hope you all had a great weekend. We had a pretty good weekend. Lewis and I went off to football on Saturday. The Welders won again. Unbelievable. They won again. This time they win 3-0. What a great weekend we had of football. And I met more viewers as well. More people came to the match on Saturday because they heard the podcast and they heard it on YouTube and whatever else. And people came along to check out the new stadium and they come up and said hello. And it was great meeting you all. So thanks, come up and say hello to us all. They were talking to Lewis at the side of the pitch because Lewis was taking his photographs as usual. So guys, thank you for being so kind and coming along the game this past weekend. Saturday night was a good night too as well. I had Tony around for the WWE Royal Rumble. That was a great night. We sat up till freaking 5 a.m. in the morning. It was on to this year. It was on from the pre-show was at 12. The pay-per-view was at 1, 4 hours long. 5 o'clock in the morning it ended up finishing. But we had a good laugh. We sat, and no alcohol involved. We just sat and we had got some snacks in, crisps and usual stuff, whatever out there. Sat and watched the Rumble with Lewis. Lewis actually lasted the whole night, which was quite surprising because Lewis normally passes out when it comes to like watching big events like that or boxing events. Well, in saying that, I'll tell you that he did sit up a few months ago when he was watching the Jake Paul boxing fight. He wanted to watch that one night. He wanted me to watch it with him, so we watched it live, and he lasted the whole night. So, but I was quite surprised when I knew the Royal Rumble was going to last for a long time. And I thought he might have like sort of given maybe about 2 or 3 and went to bed, but he didn't. He sat the whole night and he sat up to 5, so fair play to him. But we had a good laugh, and Tony and I sat and watched the Rumble with Lewis. No alcohol involved, guys. People probably thinking, oh, you and your brother get together, you have a beer and stuff. No, we didn't. We just sat and we had a great night. The Royal Rumble itself was a great show. Few things that I wanted to happen which didn't happen. Great storytelling at the very end of the pay-per-view with the whole Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn thing. So anybody who's a wrestling fan listening to this podcast now, you know what I'm talking about. But obviously if you don't, then obviously you skip forward to the next thing we're talking about. But no, it was a good show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Not as many surprises as what there normally is. The Rumble each year, a lot of people were saying that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was going to be there. He wasn't there. But no, it wasn't a bad show. We had a good night, and yeah, it was great to have Tony back around again. So, but yes, then on Sunday, Sunday, what can I say about bloody Sunday? Liverpool got beat again. Our season's just falling apart. I mean, literally, our season's falling apart. A lot of people have been contacting me, asked me was there a live reaction video on Sunday. There actually wasn't. And not because we didn't get beat, because we got beat, because Lewis wasn't even here. Lewis was actually out with Dad on Sunday. I was going to do one on my own, but I was still very, very tired from being up late the night before for the Rumble with Tony and stuff. So I literally sat for the first hour or two of the game, hour or so of the game, in my shorts and my dressing gown. I was knackered. But yeah, no, Liverpool are having an absolute horrendous season. Now we're out of the FA Cup, which we won last year, and then just found out this morning we've got another injury. Konate's injured as well now, so it's just like our season. We're 9th in the league. We're out of both cup competitions. With Real Madrid coming up here at Anfield in a couple of weeks, which I'm going to, by the way, guys. As far as I know, is it on a Tuesday night? I think. I'm not honestly sure. I have to just double check that. I'm hoping it's a Wednesday game so we can get a podcast done. But yeah, I'll be at the Liverpool Real Madrid game in Anfield in a couple of weeks, so we're doing a match day vlog from that. So it will be, and it'll be interesting. So it will be. I'm just double checking here now while I'm recording this podcast what night the game is actually on. It's on a Wednesday, which is great. I gotta do the podcast before I go. Wednesday, sorry, hold on, I'll just double check here again. Trying to look up the away fixture. Nope, it's on a Tuesday, guys. So I want to have to record the podcast on the Monday. So there you go. Tuesday, the 21st of February. I will be at Anfield for the Liverpool Real Madrid game. So I know a lot of Liverpool fans who listen to the podcast and obviously that watch the YouTube videos have been contacting me and asking when I'm at Anfield again because you just want to meet me and stuff. Well, there you go. It's confirmed. The 21st of February, I'll be at Anfield for the Liverpool Real Madrid game, which I'm looking forward to. Lewis is not going with me, unfortunately. I can only get one ticket this time for the game, which I'm kind of annoyed, but what can you do? It's just one of those things. I was tempted to go to the Liverpool. I was offered to go to the Liverpool. I'm very tempted to go to the Liverpool Everton game on I think it's a Monday night game, actually, the 13th of February. Been offered a ticket for that, but I don't know. I'm still in two minds what to do. But yes, Liverpool are having a horrendous season, and I mean we're missing so many players. Virgil van Dijk's injured. Diaz is injured, Jota's injured, now Konate's injured. I think Henderson's injured too as well. Thiago wasn't even playing. Oh, it's just, the list goes on and on and on and on. And today, of all days, is transfer deadline day as this podcast is being recorded. It's transfer deadline day. I love transfer deadline day. For all you football fans out there, this is a fun day. I know people think I'm sad, but this is where you sit around the TV and you watch the transfers coming in and out and who's going to move here and who's going to move there. And I've been seeing a few stories this morning, some interesting transfers over the last few days, but it is transfer deadline day, and I love transfer deadline day, but I also miss the old style transfer deadline day where Sky Sports used to have cameras outside the grounds with the supporters, and the supporters used to do all this crazy stuff behind the presenter who was at the ground, and with all these great memories of all these different stupid things that they've done in the background, like people dressed up as things and people doing inappropriate things on the camera as well. I don't know, the funniest one I ever seen, well, a couple of funny ones over the years, was like this guy standing outside Tottenham Hotspur's training ground. The guy runs past with a road cone on his head. Guy dressed up in different outfits, fellas doing inappropriate things, which we'll talk about on the Unleashed podcast, but I'm not going to talk about it on today. But yeah, transfer deadline day, guys. I love transfer deadline day. And even myself this year, transfer deadline day, I will be at a football ground tonight. I'm on my way to Belfast tonight for the Harnham Welders training session. I'm up there recording a Irish Cup preview special because the Welders are away here on Saturday to Glenavon, Premiership side Glenavon, in the Irish Cup 6th round. Could the Welders get through into the quarter-final of the Irish Cup? Oh, fingers crossed, especially with the former at the minute too as well. But yeah, transfer deadline day. I'm going up here tonight to see if we have any more ins and outs coming from the last day of the transfer window. If there is anything helping with the Welders, I'll be up there obviously taking photos and interviews and everything else, the usual. I was at a game last night, which was great. The Welders under-21s beat their rivals down the road from them, Dundela, 1-0 at Dundela last night, which was a great game. By the way, guys, I'll be sharing that Inside Matchday video on my YouTube page, Mirror Army YouTube page, so check it out. I put a wee clip from last week's one up on my Instagram, which a lot of you is responding very well to. Me and Lewis are doing these Inside Matchday videos now for Welders, which is where we're sort of going around with the camera behind the scenes, and we show supporters and we show the warm-ups and all these wee things you don't see on the highlight videos and stuff. So, and it's getting a great response, especially from my followers on the Mirror Army, which absolutely love it. So thank you very much, guys, for all that. I do appreciate it. But yeah, going back to transfer deadline day, everybody is glued to the TV. The deadline closes at 11 o'clock at night. But they've changed it now where it's all in studios, and it's not the same as what it used to be. I used to love when the reporters used to be standing out in the street and the fans were singing and cheering when someone signed for them, and it was just a whole big day of it. You know what I mean? Obviously it's still a day of it, but people are sitting around going, is this one signed? Is he signed? And is this done? This? No. I know people out there who don't watch football and probably listen to this podcast think, it's only people moving from one club to another. But it's just the excitement of it. It's banter. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of crack, and everybody loves it. And if you're a football fan, it's great. I mean, who's going to leave this club? I mean, Liverpool's been linked to a player today, which I don't want Liverpool to sign anymore. Well, we need players but I mean, that player from Chelsea, I'd rather not have, to be honest with you. But all these different things, who's going to sign on the last day? Is there going to be any big surprises? Who's going to spend the most money? And just all these wee different things. And transfer deadline day obviously is fun. I mean, a lot of football fans contact me on transfer deadline day on Instagram, especially, asking me, who do you think is going to sign here? Do you think this is a good signing for the club I support? Do you think Liverpool's going to sign somebody? All these different things that go on, and then you go on to social media and you read through all the hashtags like transfer deadline day and transfer news, whatever, and just the banter back and forward and all the rumours, and all the football fans are all argy-bargy with each other and all. It's fun. I love transfer deadline day. It is fun. I do miss the old style transfer deadline day, as I said, where Sky Sports had guys standing outside grounds and training grounds, and the fans were there, and some inappropriate videos knocking about out there with like blow up dolls and things of a sexual nature being brought out, and guys doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, and people coming off with stupid sayings and running up to the camera and screaming things that they shouldn't be screaming into the camera. But it was all fun and games, and you can't do that anymore because of the whole PC world, politically correct, by the way. which is too offensive to the snowflakes, and they're all like, "Oh no, don't do that no more." So that, yeah, whatever. But transfer deadline day for me is fun. I love it, absolutely love it. So I do. But there you go. So I want to probably catch the tail end of it tonight when I get back from football in Belfast tonight. I've got an interesting vlog today I'm going to be recording, by the way, football related. Obviously, I'm going to the training ground tonight, but normally I would get a lift up there with one of my friends, but I'm going up tonight on the train. But the thing is, I'm actually borrowing Lewis's electric scooter to get from my home to the train station, and then from the train station to the football ground. So I'm going to be recording a vlog while on an electric scooter. So wish me luck for that. I'll be recording that later on tonight. So wish me luck. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it in some way. Bear with me. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting vlog today. But no, guys, honestly, if you're a football fan and you love transfer deadline day, let me know. It's fun. That's why I've named today's podcast Football Transfer Deadline Day, and obviously Boris Johnston, blah, 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 and all the nonsense. I don't even know what I want to call the rest of it, but I know there's going to be a Transfer Deadline Day in the title. But even so, it's fun, and I love Transfer Deadline Day. And any football fans out there who follow my vlogs and follow out there, let me know what your special transfer deadline memories are. I would love to hear from you. Drop me an email, mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. So yes, before I go on to a couple of subjects that I've been talking about, what was I going to talk about? Oh yes, that's what it was. The other day, guys, I put a vlog out the other day, and some of you have always come back in and thanked me for giving you that information, but then I've had a couple coming in being absolute balloon heads as usual, but that was expected. But if you live in the UK, guys, well, Northern Ireland, I'm going to touch on the base in Northern Ireland. I don't know, I think you can get it in the mainland, I'm not too sure, Scotland, Wales and England and stuff like that, but over here in Northern Ireland at the minute, every single household, and I mean every single household in this country, is entitled to a energy payment. Whether you're working full-time, part-time, self-employed, whether you're unemployed or disabled or whatever your situation is, unable to work or whatever it is, every person who has a home registered in their name, of course, your energy company and the government are giving out payments of £600 per household. Now, everybody in Northern Ireland, I think it was last year, got these £100 card things where you can go out and spend it on whatever you want. And not everybody got it. Most people did get it, but people were complaining they had problems and all that. So I was sitting thinking to myself, when this was announced, I thought, yeah, whatever, I'll believe it when I see it. Blah, 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 blah. And my letter came through the post the other day, and I thought, okay, well, if I go to the post office anyway to return a parcel for Amazon, I'll go down here and I'll have a look and see what the crack is, and I'll see what it is. So I thought I'd do a vlog the other day, guys, to talk about it and let everybody who follow my channel that, if you have a home, like families and single people and people who are married and, all different walks of life, if you have a home in your name and it's your home, you are entitled to this payment. As long as you can prove who you are and it's your home and you've got your top-up card for your electric or gas, whatever it is, whoever it is, sends you the letter. I think it's your electric supplier sends it to you. Either way, so I went down to the post office the other day with Lewis, returned the parcel and stuff to Amazon, which was great. Ran into an old friend who's now working in the post office. Didn't even know. Last time I seen him years ago, he was working for PC World, which is now merged with Curry's. Obviously, it's now one company. Even though they were one company, but they're merged into one store. But the point is, I went down and thought, something, if I don't get it, I don't care. You know what I mean? So I went down and they gave it to me. So I thought, oh my God, this is great. I can go home now, put that money away in a box and keep it. So we'll never run it, well, for a period of time at least, we'll have money for the electric, the gas, everything else, just to keep it up. Because the prices at the moment, guys, are absolutely flipping atrocious. We've talked about that in the podcast many a time. We've talked about, the cost of living crisis. A lot of you guys have been getting in touch with me about it. And, it's obviously great to hear from you, and I still hear from you about it, saying some people are saying they're struggling, and, is there any way I can help point them in the right direction to try and help get money and stuff? And I have helped a few people where I've been finding different websites and things like that there and pointing them in the right direction to try and help them. Because, you have to help someone in this world. It's always good to help people. As I always believe, I think I've said this before in the podcast and in my vlogs, people open doors for me, and it's not make you less of a man to walk through that door to help you get your next step in life, and then obviously then you can return the favour by opening that same door for other people to help them too as well. But anyway, go back to my story. I was down the other day and I got the payment and stuff like that. And I wanted to make a point in the vlog, guys, not to turn around and say, oh yeah, by the way, I got 600 quid. You know, what some of you people think I was doing. But a lot of you were actually responding to me and saying, oh my God, I actually thought I wasn't entitled to that because I was working and stuff. That's the thing, guys. Everybody's entitled to it, and that's why the point of that video the other day, even though I'd done a funny thumbnail for the video of me standing holding the money and stuff like that and whatever else. But the point was the video was to tell everybody and spread the message that once you get that letter, because there's people out there who will look at the letter and go, yeah, dead on, whatever, I'm not going to get that energy payment, screw that. But the point I'm making is, yes, you are entitled to that money. So if you get a letter through the post, take it to the post office, cash it in. It's your money. It's to help to pay with your electric and gas. Now, I did say in the vlog, and I'm saying it here now in the podcast, people will take that money. And I've seen it myself in my own two eyes. People are taking that money and they're going out and they're blowing it on the biggest load of nonsense. You know, they're blowing it on stupid things, you know, like nights out with their mates, or, I don't know, people booking holidays and whatnot. But I'm obviously doing it my way, and it's obviously put in the box and kept for obviously electric, gas, whatever else. People might think to myself, you're mad, go and enjoy yourself. But no, guys, at the end of the day, the point I was making in that video was everybody's entitled to it. And I've had a lot of people coming in saying to me, oh, you're not entitled to that, and blah blah blah, you're taking money from the government, no, you sponge and all that. Listen, I'm going to clear this up right now. I just laugh at it. It's so funny. I had a conversation with a guy on Instagram the other day where he was fully going at me. Like, he was like, how dare you don't pay your taxes, blah, 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 blah. Really? So this is where I thought, you know something, I want to bring this matter up on the podcast. Listen, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to it, whether you're working, you're not working, whatever your situation, if you have a home, and your name's in that home, whether you own your own home, you rent your own home, or whatever listen, at the end of the day, you're entitled to that money. So for anybody who's going to be like that guy the other day on Instagram, I'm entitled to it like everybody else. So keep your opinions to yourself. If you don't like it, tough titties, go away and do whatever you want. Maybe you have got it or you don't have it, and if you have had it and you probably blew it on crap, listen, away and do what you have to do. I'm entitled to it like everybody else. I've took my payment of it. You know, and at the end of the day, I've been paying tax since I was 16. So don't sit there and have you give me the right to point the finger at me and say to me, oh, who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, if you don't like it, stick it. But for people who have contacted me over the last couple of days and said to me, Matthew, thank you for informing me about that. I thought I wasn't entitled to it. I'm going to wait for my letter to come and then I'm going to cash it in. Well, then do it, because at the end of the day, it's going to keep your house warm. It's going to keep putting electric into your home. That's the whole point of it. And if you're in a situation like me where you can put that to one side, or at the end of the day, you know, it's your money. You do whatever you want with it. I'm doing what I want with mine. But again, I just wanted to make that point. That was the whole point, the valid point of making that video the other day, was just to get the message out to people, to let them know that that payment is there for them and everybody's entitled to it, no matter what your walk of life is. I mean, my brother received his, mum and dad received theirs. I think some of my neighbours has received theirs too as well. I was talking to a fella last night there at the football game. He received his. I was talking to a fella at football on Saturday. Him and his wife received theirs as well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, everybody's entitled to it. So for anybody out there who thinks, he's just sponging off the government, blah, 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 just go and sort yourself out and get yourself a life. That's funny. It's funny when you get... I love messages. I get trolls every day, guys. And I just love that my finger loves the block button. I just laugh at these people now. They're just sad. So, but they wouldn't be sad themselves if they were handed 600 quid for free and they're like, oh, this is brilliant, mate. Yeah, dead on. Yeah, whatever. So for anybody there who has contacted me, I just wanted to clear that up. You know, you're welcome for obviously me sharing that message with you, because somebody's were saying like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was going to get that. Or am I really entitled to that? So you are. Get it, take it, because I think it runs out at the end of March. And if you have a letter and you haven't cashed it in, get it done before the end of March, because the payments stop. So get it, and it might come in handy for your home, like put food on the table. electric in the meter, pay your electricity bill or your gas or whatever, or your oil heating, whatever. It's there. That's the reason why it's there. But just wanted to clear that up, guys. So yeah, but thanks for all the positive messages over the last couple of days about it, because it really I'm glad I was able to help out some people. But on a sad note now, somebody's were asking me the other week there about Netflix and stuff, what stuff they watch on Netflix and whatever else, and I did bring up that my daughter at the minute's currently watching this program called Wednesday, which is obviously a spin-off show from the original Addams Family. Some sad news I heard there last night. Lisa Loring, who played the original Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family, unfortunately has passed away at the very young age of 64. She was obviously best well known for playing Wednesday Addams in the first TV program brought out originally in the 1960s. She's died at the age of 64. It's very, very sad. She died due to a stroke caused by high blood pressure this past 24 hours or so. So the original Wednesday Addams unfortunately passed away. So I know a lot of you out there have been saying about the program Wednesday. You've been watching it on Netflix. Brooke said she's watched it too. I haven't watched it yet, but the original Wednesday Addams has unfortunately passed away. Very, very young. I've seen a lot of people dying these last month or so. Very, 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 very young. But yeah, bit of a sad story for the podcast today, guys. But here, what's going on with these politicians this week? These fools, and I know you're probably thinking, oh God, he's talking politics again, but I wanted to bring this up. This absolute balloon head, Nicola Sturgeon, needs to be taken by the scruff, kicked up the backside, shown the door, and told where to go. Now, I have a lot of Scottish listeners who listen to my podcast, and I know for a fact, because I've had a lot of you on at me saying that you don't like Nicola Sturgeon, or I call her Jeanette McCranky. The woman is bonkers. The woman is an absolute screw loose, and she's this whole stuff she's going through at the minute here. But this whole, the thing about this, talk about the other day on the podcast about the guy who was put into the wrong prison because he changed his gender because he raped women and stuff like that, and that's been over the news the last few days or so. I found out apparently, now I don't know if it's true or not, don't quote me on this, guys, but I heard when they put he or she, whatever you want to call it, into the one prison, they moved him back into a man's prison, and when he got into the man's prison, they were kicking the crap out of him, so they had to put him into some more type of place too. I just don't know. But overall, I mean, she's done a really, really cringy interview yesterday where she can't answer questions. She's like bumbling bars, which I'm going to talk about in just a second again. I'm talking about bumbling bars in a while. Mr. Hammer can't speak right. But this woman is delusional. This woman is wired to the moon. This woman needs to be locked up and put away somewhere. She's just lost the plot. She's driving Scotland into the ground. I mean, I've got Scottish relatives, a family who live in Scotland, I have Scottish friends who just don't like this woman. They think this woman should have been shown the door a long time ago, because even during the whole COVID pandemic or lockdown, whatever you want to call it, her policies and rules were absolutely horrendous. It's like your man Drakeford up in Wales. Now, I heard the other day, unfortunately, his wife passed away, which is kind of sad, but he's a miserable sod as well. He was stuck in the 1940s. So he was. Like, I went to Wales for the first time this past September with Lewis. We went to Cardiff for WWE Clash at the Castle. And even speaking to people in Wales, they hated Drakeford. They don't like him. They think he was just a miserable old git who was stuck in the past. Like, I have relatives who live in certain parts of Wales, and even my dad and mum said to me, when they go to that part of Wales, it's like going back in time because the country hasn't moved forward. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but when I was in Cardiff was pretty cool. It was all modernised, whatever else. But these politicians like Drakeford and especially Sturgeon are just complete delusional nutcases who need to be shown the door. But this woman done a really, really, really cringy interview yesterday where she can't answer questions up front. She's like Boris. She's avoiding the truth. Typical 21st century politician. All full of nonsense and just can't tell you the truth. Just be honest with people. If you mess up, hold your hands up and say, I've messed up. But this woman is just absolutely delusional. So she is. And she just blustered and stuttered her way through that interview yesterday, which was absolutely horrific. If you ever get a chance to have a look at it, guys, it's just ridiculous. The woman just needs to go. And speaking of politicians, our good Mr. Friend, Mr. The thing is, we got to be into the green zone, the amber zone, lockdowns, and Boris Johnston is all over the news this morning that apparently bumbling Boris could be back in the game as Tory admits Prime Minister, obviously the current Prime Minister, who I think is a complete and total balloonhead as well. The story reads this morning: Boris Johnson could be back in the game if there's any moves to oust Rishi Sunak after poor local election results in May. There's talk of him possibly getting back into the game again. Could Boris Johnson be Prime Minister again? Right, where's my suitcase? I'm leaving. Right, pack the bags. I'm away. What is going on with it? See, this last lot of years, politicians are just driving me insane. When I don't really watch news that much now, but when I do, all I hear is like the last Prime Minister, 40 odd days in charge, showing the door. Then we had this balloonhead Rishi Sunak, who is a multi-millionaire and his wife's a billionaire. The guy hasn't got a clue what he's doing. It's just, oh my God. Guys, the amount of emails I get all the time about different people saying to me, about politics and this person should be showing the door and whatever else. I don't think I could be a politician, to be honest with you. I've been asked before. I recall reading emails and people saying, would you ever become a politician? I couldn't. I ended up going to jail for what I said or what I done. Like some of these corrupt... I found out 2 weeks ago after speaking to an old friend. He told me that local politicians here in Northern Ireland, what they get paid weekly and what they get paid monthly. And all they got to do is go to a certain amount of meetings every month. And I'm like, are you actually for real? There's people out there who are standing in factories, who are standing, doing all these hard jobs and working their ass off from no wage, like myself, and paid enough just to get past the breadline, where these numpties are sitting in their big houses and driving around their flashy cars, and all they do is sit and talk nonsense and promise everybody everything and don't deliver. This is why I don't vote. This is what I said before. This is why I don't vote. So there you go. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about those two no more because I don't want to ruin my day. Anyway, moving away from them balloon heads, I'm going to get on to some of your questions. As you all probably know, this podcast on Tuesdays now is normally as longer as the Thursday podcast is. And, it's just one of those things. But anyway, let's get into some of your messages, guys. Now, I did put up the other day on Instagram, as you probably all saw my story. The other day, I asked you for some of you to reply to some of my questions that I put up on my Instagram, and some of you were asking me questions over the last few days, which is great to hear from you all, of course. I just put up on my story and stuff like that, just saying, any questions for Tuesday's podcast, let me know. I've got one here from Ryan. First of all, says, hi Matthew, hope you're well. I have a question for the podcast. If you have to write a book about anything in the world, what would it be? Just to let you know, the first vlog I ever came across the channel was Easter Sunday in Belfast back in 2018. God, 2018 seems like yesterday, doesn't it? Now, if I was to write a book on anything in the world, what would it be about? A few things. If it was talking about recent times, it would probably be about the whole COVID situation and my view on it. Write a book on anything else would probably be a book about my family. A book about maybe, I don't know, just obviously be more about my family and my life and stuff, and then obviously a book about recent last 3 or 4 years about the government and the COVID pandemic and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it, yeah. But when I write a book about my family, God, I could be there for weeks, because the amount of stories I haven't even told on the podcast or told on on the vlog, some stories. Probably be about that, so it would be. So, but yeah, Ryan, thanks for your question. Do appreciate it. Write a book. Interesting. All the things that's happened to me I haven't talked about online before. God, I'll tell you what, if I had a diary every year since I was a kid, God, the diaries would be filled. I'd probably have to need about 3 or 4 diaries per year. So it would. Oh dear. Well, Dan, thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Let's get on to the next one here now. Next one here is from Stephen. Stephen wants to know, hi Matthew, love the podcast. Just basically writing you a question and asking for a shout out too as well. Hey Stephen, how are you? My question for you is, do you love local football? How long have you been doing it for? Which I've already talked about before, 13 years. Would you ever consider moving across the water to the mainland to pursue your career in football at another level, apart from the Irish League? Okay, well that's an interesting question. If the opportunity arose and I was given the good opportunity, probably, yeah, of course I would. But if I had to pick a club, you know who I'd pick really, wouldn't you? You know, I'd pick Liverpool right away. Imagine working for Liverpool TV. God, I'd have a field day working for Liverpool TV on match day. Even if it was just a cameraman, just the fact of being pitch side every week for Liverpool. Oh, and going to the training ground and seeing the boys, and it'd be my absolute element. So it would be my absolute element. So it would. But maybe one day. So it would be. But you never know. See. Let's get on to another one here now. Okay, this one here is from Ross on Instagram. Hi Matthew, greetings from New York City. Oh my God, New York City, brilliant. Hello Ross, how are you? He just says, just came across your vlogs over the last few months and just wanted to know, have you ever been to New York City? And if so, when are you wanting to return to the city? I am from the Bronx and just came across your videos by searching through the Northern Ireland section of YouTube. I have a long lost relative, an auntie and uncle who live in Belfast, and just wanted to give you a shout out on Instagram. Love your content, have spent the last few weeks going through all your old videos and now listen to your podcast. So whenever you're in New York City again, give me a shout out and we'll hook you up for a day out and we'll go for a coffee or a Starbucks or a lunch. Great to hear from you. Hope to hear from you. Love the podcast, love the videos, keep up the good work. Ross, New York City. Ross from New York. Oh my God. Ross, to answer your question, yes, I have been to New York City. 19 years ago, in March, I was in New York City for WrestleMania 20. I know, gee whiz, 2004. Yes, I was there for 2 days. Now, I got to see some of the city. Not at all. I was there for WrestleMania and then I flew home on the Monday. I got to go to Times Square. I got to go to the place where obviously the Twin Towers were. I was on the Staten Island ferry to New Jersey to go and meet Mick Foley, the wrestler. I didn't get to see most of the city. I didn't get a chance to even go up the Empire State Building. I didn't do everything that you're supposed to do in New York because the guys who I was with at the time were, I'm going to put it, kind of annoying. And they were all rush. Get round the place and then get to see the show and then go home. Obviously, it was in Madison Square Garden for the show and stuff. But I've always wanted to go back to the city again, Ross, and spend time in the city, see everything properly, and this time go back and pay proper respects to obviously over the 3,000 people who passed away at 9/11, because I'm very passionate about New York City. And even so, whenever 9/11 happened back in 2001, that literally broke my bloody heart, so it did, seeing that happen. I still do research into it to this day, reading about all different articles and people's experiences, and you find all this different stuff about it all. Even the city, there's a guy I subscribe to on YouTube. He lives in New York and he walks around New York with a camera at night, strapped to his chest, and he walks around showing you the city at daytime, nighttime, all the life and things going on in New York. And he goes online for 3 or 4 hours at a time, and I could just sit there and watch the city all night because it's great. You just see it, all the different walks of life and different cultures and all these different things that are going on in New York City. I've always had a passion for New York City, and I do want to go back there eventually to experience it this time with my children and have an absolute ball in New York. So Ross, if you keep obviously keep in touch whenever I'm eventually going to go back to New York. I'm going to Philadelphia here now next year, but I want to go to New York City again because even Lewis has even said, Daddy, I want to go to New York and see New York, and I really do want to go there and enjoy it properly. Now, here's the thing. I do have video footage. I think I showed a clip of it on my vlog. I did actually, where when I was in Staten Island, I met Mick Foley, and he done a video for Tony at the time because Tony was in hospital getting an operation on his leg, and Mick Foley done a message for my brother back to them at the time. So yeah, it was great to be there. I actually have footage of me walking around New York City, walking around the what do you call it, in Times Square and stuff. So I would love to get that footage and put it on to the YouTube channel and show me in New York, because you see me on the what do you call it? Is it the boardwalk or something it's called in New York? That big walkway at that beach area. You see me on in a yellow cab or taxi, whatever you want to call it, cab, whatever it is. You see me doing all these different things in New York City. So I would love to hopefully get that footage onto my computer and get it onto the YouTube channel eventually one day. But yeah, Ross, thanks for your message all the way from New York, New York. I just want to go back. My friend or girl I know from Harmouth Builders, Debbie, she goes every Christmas with her kids, and she's there over Christmas every year, and she's so lucky because is it one of her relatives or something has a house just outside the city, and they are there every Christmas, and I am so jealous. I'd love to go there Christmas time where it's all, you're out ice skating and doing all your different things. I would just love to do it. So I would, but maybe one day. But yes, Ross, thanks for your message. Hope you and your family's keeping well. Thanks for the support of the channel all the way from New York City. And if I am going to be there again, and you hear about me talking about it on the channel or on the podcast, whatever, hook me up and we'll go for a coffee. It'd be great to meet you. So, but thanks very much for your message. Do appreciate it. Loved you and your family over in New York, and thanks for the support. Right, let's get into some of the old emails before I head down the road today, guys. I'm sitting here this morning in my living room recording the podcast, and I just realised before I pushed the record button, I've actually got my washing machine on. So if you hear my washing machine in the background, I do apologise. You probably don't like because of the microphone that I'm using, but if you do hear a noise in the background, I do apologise. It's just Lewis came in yesterday from school with his PE gear on, and there was muck everywhere on him, and it was kind of like, Lewis, are you being serious, son? So it all had to be bunged into the washing machine. He's a flipping nightmare, so he is. And here's Norring before I do go on to the emails. A lot of you have been asking me about Lewis's hoodies that he has, this orange and green hoodie he has, the Pound Bakery and Pound Cafe from Liverpool. He always says that, all the hoodies that he wears when he's hanging about the house and being lazy. Pretty much, he does wear other stuff, but when he's out of football or he's out walking me, he sticks those big hoodies on. And people say, like, does he ever get them washed? Yeah, he does. I'm sick of washing them because he just loves them so much, because they're like all furry on the inside, and they keep him nice and warm. So yeah, he has my head tortured, so he does. But anyway, yes, let's get into one or two of your emails here before I end the podcast for today. Let's have a look here and see. Okay, I've got one here from Anderson Miller. Sounds like two surnames, doesn't it? Anderson Miller. Okay, wants to know, hi Matthew, just wanted to ask you a quick question for the podcast. Bit random, but what is your all-time favourite food? And also, what is your favourite cereal? Okay, it's a bit of a random one. Anderson Miller, random. Favourite food at this present time would probably be pork. I love pulled pork. I've been through a few phases where I'm making pulled pork. I just absolutely adore it. Also, I'm enjoying a good steak at the minute, which I haven't had for a wee while now, so I have to get myself a good steak. But yeah, pulled pork at the minute. I'm enjoying pork. It's probably one of my favourite foods at the minute. Just trying to think of anything else. Cereal wise, my God, there's been. I grew up as a kid eating cornflakes quite a lot. Sugar Puffs, they're called here in the UK. Sugar Puff cereal. Shreddies. I used to love Shreddies when I was a kid too. Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle and pop. Hey. But yeah, growing up mostly I would eat Kellogg's cornflakes. When I was a kid. Cereal wise, I would eat cereal now and again nowadays. Weetabix, I enjoy Weetabix, or a good bit of shredded wheat cereal as well. Anybody from America is listening, shredded wheat or Weetabix, you know you know that or not, like, but they're very, very good for you. I do like a good bowl of bran flakes now and again too as well, which is good. Those with some, not hot milk, but it's just a wee bit hot-ish, not hot milk, just a wee bit warm milk, which is quite nice. I don't like porridge. I just really don't like porridge at all. I just can't stand porridge or oatmeal or whatever you call that, all them cereals. What do you call that? Muesli. Looks, as they say in the episode of Only Fools and Horses, it looks like something that's been swept out of a pigeon loft. All that, oh, no thank you. Do like Weetabix, do like shredded wheat. Bran flakes is quite nice as well. So, but I'm not really more of a big cereal eater now than what I used to be. But my favourite food at the minute would be pulled pork and a good steak. So it would be. I do like my chickens and my beefs and whatever else and all my other bits and bobs. But at the minute, I'll probably be a good steak or a bit of pulled pork. I do love pulled pork. Pulled pork is beautiful, so it is. But that's my go-to food at the minute, so it is. So yeah, thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. Let's move on here and see. Okay, another question here from Janet. Janet wants to know, hi Matthew, just a quick question. Are you any good with DIY around the house? Or do you have to get people in to do it for you? Are you good at the following things? Changing a plug, changing the bulb, wiring up things, setting up things, building furniture, etc., etc. Are you any good at DIY? Let us know. Just wanted to be nosy. Ha ha ha. Okay. Certain things with DIY, yes, I'm quite good. Now, when it comes to electrical stuff like changing the plug and whatever else, that's easy. That's no issue for me at all. I can do that, no issues at all. Certain things that would frustrate me, and it'd be kind of like, But yeah, pretty much around the house, I'm actually all right. So when it comes to DIY, there are certain things that I've tried to build before where I've ended up losing the rag. And over the last couple of years as well, Brooke has came around and obviously enjoyed doing her DIY. She's been building quite a few things as well. She tends to have a bit more patience than what her daddy does. But no, generally around the house I'm not too bad, actually. I'm alright. I would do my own painting, I would do my own decorating. Apart from one time where I had my friend in to do my living room walls for me, and I got a guy in to do my whole stairs and lantern for me, but other things I would normally do myself. But yeah, around the household in general, I'm actually not too bad. The thing about it is, Lewis is sort of like me at the minute too as well. He's in the always be fixing up things and electrical and studying things, how to build things and fix things and whatever else. So hopefully he's going to grow up to have that sort of good mindset as well. So see, here's the thing, guys. I was actually telling someone this yesterday. Whenever I was growing up, because I was so into all my tech and all different things like that, anytime my family had an issue with their TV or they got a new TV and they wanted it set up or whatever like that, they always used to call me. And my mum and dad are a nightmare for it. So they are to this day. I think I've mentioned this before, where, you know, if anything goes wrong with their phone or they can't get their Fire Stick to work or they can't get their TV to work, they're straight on the phone to me going, oh my God, it's like, this is not working, can you fix this for me? Can you do that for me? And you keep telling them, you know, to keep things updated. For example, brilliant one there a few months ago, it was like mum rings up and goes, my Amazon Fire Stick's not working. Can you come round some night this week and tune it in for me? I'm like, what? And she goes, you have to come round some night and tune it in for me. And I'm going, what? It's like, you don't tune in a Fire Stick. It's an HDMI. You plug it straight on your TV and you turn it to the channel HDMI. How do you do that? Like, what the fiddler's foot? Really? And then other ones are mobile phone. It's like, Mum, keep your apps updated on your phone or your phone will run slow. How do you do that? She's on Android or phone. You go to the Google Play Store. You go to the very top of that screen, right? You click the three wee lines in the top left-hand corner and you go to My Apps. Okay, and then it says updates available. You click on that and it does all your updates for you. Right, that's easy enough, she says, and then a week or two later, my phone's running slow. This is how bad she is. Every time she wants to post something on Facebook, she comes to my house to ask my daughter to post it for her. We've shown her 1,000,000 times how to post stuff on Facebook, And it still, she comes around here and goes, could you post that wee thing up on Facebook for me? And I'm like, for the love of sorry if I had to swear there, Kate, but Mom, you're a nightmare. And then Dad's the same. How do I get this to work? How do I get this on? How do I get this on the TV? Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, don't. They're a nightmare with technology. But anyway, yes, going off back to the question. Yes, I am quite alright around the house when it does wee things like that. It's pretty easy. I'm no joiner. I can't build things from scratch. Like flat pack furniture and all. Alright, no problem. But I'm generally alright around the house when it comes to DIY. Some things I do get really frustrated about and angry, and I sort of walk away and calm down for a wee bit, but generally I'm not too bad. So, but thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. So, yeah, DIY. What do you like at DIY? Let me know what you think, how you are DIY. If you want to send me an email. Are you any good with DIY? let me think. Okay, let's get on to another one here. Right, another female question here. From, what's her name? Paulette? I was thinking Paula there, but it looks like Paulette. Paulette? I don't know. Hi Matthew, greetings. Hope you're keeping well. I've just recently moved to the UK from Portugal. Okay. Just wanted to know a random question. What aftershave and fragrance do you wear when you're out somewhere, or do you have a different one for different occasions? For example, if you're out at a restaurant, or you're out for a night out, or if you're just out and about in general, what aftershave and fragrance do you use? I know it's a bit of a random question, but I just thought I would ask anyway. Okay. Strange one. Okay, you just moved to the UK from Portugal. Yes. Welcome. Fragrance or aftershave? Okay. I do get some random questions here on the podcast. My go-to aftershaves at the moment would be Diesel. I love Diesel aftershave. I do like a bit of Cool Water. That's quite a nice fragrance as well. I do like that. That's pretty much it, really. I'm just pretty much a very standard guy. Trying to think of anything else that would wear. Not really. I just love Cool Water and Diesel. There's 2 or 3 different versions of Diesel that I would wear, but I just love the smell of it, and the Cool Water as well. So funny, because when I was growing up in the day, I always remember my dad using Old Spice, Brute. What else would he have used? My goodness me. So many different ones, but I always remember those 2, Old Spice and Brute. Don't get me wrong, I actually don't mind the smell of Brute now and again, but Old Spice, old man's aftershave I call it, which is crazy. But yeah, I always remember those are. But bit of a random question for the podcast, but yeah, thanks for that. So yeah, there you go. My fragrance is Diesel, or maybe a bit of Cool Water now and again. There's obviously other nice ones out there, but the price of frickin' aftershaves nowadays is absolutely horrendous. Cost an absolute fortune. So it does. There you go. Right, guys, I'm going to head down the road here now, because I've got to go and get this put together and get on with the rest of my day up until later on before I head to Belfast later on. Stay tuned for the vlog today. Yes, it's going to be a bit of how I'm going to figure this one out. I don't know, but I'm going to try and figure it out some way. I'm going to try and film while I'm driving on this scooter. And before people ask, yes, it's an adult scooter. It's not one of the wee ones for kids. It's a big, full, usually bigger than normal scooter. So it does hold me, in case people are wondering. I'm going to be driving it later on tonight to the train station, and then get on the train, and then go from there on to the training tonight. So I'm looking forward to getting up there. Plus it gets me out of the house for an hour. Transfer deadline day. Love it. Absolutely love it. By the way, guys, yes, coming up on Thursday's podcast, we're going to be a bit more unleashed. If there's anything you want me to hear me talk about on Thursday's podcast, don't forget to drop me an email, mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, don't forget to contact me on social media, Instagram, and also on the Facebook fan page. I would appreciate it as well. I'm also going to be getting in touch with people who do the merch. The guy, as I said before, can't do the website no more. I'm going to try and get a couple of new designs done for merch and get it onto the new website, which I'm going to spend a bit of time tomorrow on. and try and get more stuff added to the website. That's moorarmy.co.uk if you want to get on there and have a look around at some of the recent merch and stuff. It's available for children, also adults, men and women, so all your different things on there. I've also got a few ideas for some summer wear as well this year. I had some summer t-shirts created last year, some tank tops and all too for summer 2022, which somebody's actually bought, which was great. Somebody's actually sent me photographs of yous abroad with your Moor Army t-shirts on. It was great to see. But yes, guys, I'm going to head down the road here now and get on with the rest of my day. So stay tuned for this vlog today. It's going to be a bit of a weird one. I'm going to have to figure this out, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting up the football training tonight on transfer deadline day, as the Welders going to be announcing another player on the day of transfer deadline day. We'll have to wait and see. I've heard a few stories, so it makes my day a bit more exciting too as well, especially when you're working football. So there you go. Right, guys, I'm going to head down the road here now. So Thursday's podcast, I got some really good subjects to talk about on Thursday. Some really good ones. And if you have any suggestions at all as well, guys, for Jackass of the Week, pop them in for Thursday's podcast. I'll drop a wee question thing up on social media again. Get your questions into me for that. So stay tuned. But anyway, I'm going to head down the road here now, guys. So once again, thank you for all your streams and downloads and stuff like that on Spotify, Apple Music, and also if you're listening to us here on YouTube as well. I'm going to obviously try and get the finger out this week as well about that iHeartRadio things. I want to try and get the podcast on the TuneIn Radio as well, which I've been doing a lot of inquiries about. I've mentioned it a couple of times to you as well. So TuneIn Radio also be available on the Alexa app, the Google Homes as well. So if you have them in your household, you'll be able to listen to the podcast through them too as well. TuneIn Radio is a big platform to get your podcast onto, guys, which I'm going to get onto as well. So yeah, that's a goal, to get on the TuneIn Radio, which is a massive platform to be on. Don't get me wrong, Spotify is a big one too, and Apple Music as well. But TuneIn Radio and iHeartRadio is a big platform to be on. Try and get the more ears on the product. So I am. So right, when I head down the road here now, guys. So once again, if you're listening to us here on YouTube as well, guys, as well on the Moor Army Podcast YouTube channel, please drop a subscribe below. I'd appreciate it, and obviously drop a like on the video too. But again, thanks for all your streams and all your downloads and stuff like that on all the other platforms. It does mean a lot to us here in the Moor household. Right, I'm going to go and get ready and try and prepare myself here for this adventure tonight on the vlog. Stay tuned. Be fun. Right, guys, going to head in here now. So until Thursday, enjoy your Tuesday and your Wednesday, and I'll see you back here on Thursday where I can be a bit more unleashed and speak more freely and maybe drop the occasional bad word in there now and again. So I know there's a lot more of you out there like the Unleashed podcast, so stay tuned for that. So until Thursday, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you all back here on Thursday for another episode of the Moor Army Podcast. Thanks for listening, guys.